If you're a coach or consultant posting content on LinkedIn, you probably noticed something frustrating, which is the fact that you put all of this time into creating valuable posts, then you hit publish, and then all of a sudden, it's just crickets. Maybe you get a few likes from people that you don't know or a couple of generic comments like great posts, but you're not really getting the kind of engagement that actually leads to real conversations, and you're definitely not getting inbound leads from high ticket clients. So here's the problem. Most people think that LinkedIn is about posting content and then just waiting for results, but that's only really half the equation. The other half, that's the part that actually attracts premium clients, is strategic engagement. And I'm not talking about spending hours scrolling through your feed or leaving desperate comments trying to sell your services. So in this video, I'm going to show you a tactical engagement framework that only takes 15 minutes per day, and it turns LinkedIn into a client attraction engine. This is the exact strategy that I've used to build a presence with over 55,000 followers and also generating more than 10 million impressions in the last year. And it's the same approach that's also helped clients to generate thousands of comments. And you can see examples of what I'm talking about here from my profile, some of the pages that we control here. And so you can see that this is absolutely tactics and strategies that work. So let's dive right in so that you can implement it for yourself. So I want to kick off with the core problem, which is the fact that right now you're probably engaging on LinkedIn in one of two ways. Either you're not engaging at all, or you're just posting content and then hoping that people find it. Or you might be just engaging randomly, just scrolling through the feed, liking a few posts, leaving a comment here and there, but there's no real strategy behind it. So here's why that doesn't work. If you're not actually engaging, you're completely invisible. The LinkedIn algorithm prioritizes people who are active on the platform. So if you're only posting and not engaging, then your content can end up getting buried. But even if you're engaging, if it's just random and generic, then really you're just wasting time, because leaving comments like great post or thanks for sharing doesn't position you as an expert. It really just positions you as background noise. So the second part of the problem is that most people engage with the wrong people. They engage with whoever shows up on their feed, maybe competitors, random connections, people who will never actually become clients. But strategic engagement isn't about quantity. It's about getting in front of the right type of people, your ideal clients, and other authorities in your space. That way you can then start to position yourself as someone worth actually paying attention to. So here's the truth. Engagement is the fastest way to build authority and to attract clients on LinkedIn, but it has to be strategic. You need to know who to engage with, what to say, and how to do it in a way that actually builds trust and positions you as an expert. That's basically what this whole framework is really about. It's a 15-minute daily engagement strategy that actually gets you in front of high-ticket clients and turns visibility into real conversations. So let me show you how it actually works. Now, the first step is what I call the authority engagement block. This is just 5 minutes per day where you engage with content from recognized experts and thought leaders in your niche. And the goal here isn't just to get their attention, it's actually to get in front of their audience. So here's how it works. I want you to identify 3 to 5 authorities in your space, people who already have large engaged followings with your ideal types of clients. So these could be other coaches, consultants, industry leaders, or influencers, and then set aside 5 minutes per day to engage with their content. But here's the key. You're not just leaving generic comments, you're leaving value-adding comments that actually demonstrate your expertise and your position as a peer, not just a follower. So let me give you some examples of what this can look like. A generic comment would be, great post, thanks for sharing. An authority positioning comment would be, this aligns with what I've seen working with clients. The one thing I'd add is that this strategy works even better when you combine it with a niche specific headline, such as we've helped clients to increase their inbound DMs by 200% just by making this one adjustment. So can you see the difference there? The first comment is forgettable, but the second one adds value. It shares a specific insight and subtly positions you as someone who should actually work with clients and who gets results. So here's another example. A generic comment would just be love this, whereas an authority positioning comment would be spot on. I'd also add that most people overlook the power of strategic engagement. Now, in my experience, 15 minutes of focused engagement per day generates more leads than posting every single day without a strategy. Now, again, you're not just agreeing, you're actually adding a layer of insight that makes people think, who is this person? They clearly know what they're talking about. Now, here's what happens when you do this consistently. People in that authority's audience will see that comment, they check out your profile, and if your profile is optimized, they will connect with you or reach out. So you're leveraging someone else's audience to build your own visibility. Now, here's the tactical exercise for you. I want you to write down 3 to 5 authorities in your niche, then spend 5 minutes per day engaging with their posts using value-adding comments. This is how you then get in front of thousands of ideal clients without building your own audience from scratch. Now, the second step here is the ideal client engagement block. This is 5 minutes per day where you engage directly with people who fit your ideal client profile. And this is where most people get it wrong. They then try to sell in the comments, and that's not what this is about. This is about building relationships and positioning yourself as a helpful expert. So here's how it works. I want you to go to LinkedIn and search for people who fit your ideal client avatar. If you help financial advisors, for example, search for financial advisors. And if you help B2B consultants, then search for B2B consultants. Then go to their profiles and start engaging with their content. But again, you're not leaving generic comments, and you're definitely not pitching your services. You're leaving thoughtful, helpful comments, and then you want to add value to start a conversation. So let me give you a couple of examples. The scenario here would be you help financial advisors and you see a financial advisor post about struggling to generate leads. So a bad comment would be, I can help you with that, DM me. Whereas a strategic comment would be, this is a common challenge. One tactic that's worked well for advisors that I know is repositioning your LinkedIn headline to speak directly to your ideal client's pain point. For example, instead of financial advisor at XYZ, try I help high net worth families protect and grow their wealth. It's a small shift, but it can dramatically increase inbound interest. You see the difference there? You're not actually selling, you're genuinely helping, but you're also demonstrating that you understand their problem and you have a solution. When they see that comment, they'll check out your profile. And if your profile positions you as the expert who helps financial advisors, then they'll reach out. So let me give you another example. A scenario here would be you help B2B consultants and you see a consultant post about wanting to grow their LinkedIn presence. A bad comment would be, let's connect, I can show you how. A strategic comment would be, growing on LinkedIn is less about posting frequency and more about positioning. The fastest way I've seen consultants grow is by niching down their headline and content to speak to a specific audience. Once you're clear on who you are and who you serve, the right people will start finding you. Again, you're adding value here and you're not actually pitching, but you're also subtly positioning yourself as someone who knows how to solve their problem. And here's what happens when you do this consistently. You start showing up in your ideal client's world. They see your name, they see your insights, and they start to perceive you as an authority. And when they're ready to invest in a solution, you're the person that they're going to end up thinking of. So here's the tactical exercise. I want you to spend 5 minutes per day finding 3 to 5 posts from your ideal clients and leaving value-adding comments. This is how you build relationships and generate inbound leads without cold outreach. Now, the third step here is the response engagement block. This is 5 minutes per day where you respond to comments on your own posts. And this might sound obvious, but most people don't actually do it. They post content, they get a few comments, and then they move on. But there's a massive missed opportunity here. Here's why responding to comments actually matters. First, it signals to LinkedIn's algorithm that your post is generating conversation, which then in turn increases its reach. The more you engage with your own post, the more people LinkedIn shows it to. Secondly, it builds relationships. When someone takes the time to comment on your content, responding shows that you're accessible and you're engaged. And third, it gives you an opportunity to continue the conversation and to move people closer to becoming actual clients. But here's the key. You're not just saying thanks, appreciate it. You're asking follow-up questions, adding additional value, or inviting them to take a next step. So let me give you some examples. A generic response would be thanks for the comment, whereas a strategic response would be appreciate that. Out of curiosity, have you tried repositioning your headline yet? I'd be happy to take a look and to give you some feedback if you want to DM me your current one. You see the difference? The second response continues the conversation and invites them to take action. Here's another example. A generic response would be glad you found it helpful, whereas a strategic response would be thanks. This is just one piece of the puzzle. The next step is to making sure that your about section reinforces the same positioning. If you want a breakdown of how to structure it, I can send you a quick framework, just let me know. Again, you're not just acknowledging the comment, you're deepening the relationship and offering additional value. Here's what happens when you do this consistently. Your posts get more reach because the algorithm sees ongoing engagement. Your commenters feel valued and are more likely to engage with your future content. And some of those conversations turn into DMs, which then turn into sales calls. So here's the tactical exercise for this. Every single time you post content, set a reminder to check back in a few hours and to respond to every comment. Spend 5 minutes asking follow-up questions, adding value, or inviting people to continue the conversations in the DMs. This is how you turn engagement into relationships and relationships into clients. So let's put all of this together, right? Now you've got the complete 15-minute daily engagement framework. So the first 1 to 5 minutes is your authority engagement. Engage with posts from 3 to 5 recognized experts in your niche. Leave value-adding comments that position you as a peer and get in front of their audience. Between minutes 6 to 10, this is all about your ideal client engagement. Engage with posts from 3 to 5 people who fit your ideal client profile. Leave helpful, insightful comments that demonstrate your expertise and then start relationships. Now, between minutes 11 and 15, this is all about response engagement. So I want you to respond to comments on your own posts. Ask follow-up questions, add value, and invite people to continue the conversation. And that's it. In 15 minutes per day, split into 3 focus blocks. This is a time-leveraged approach that actually builds authority, generates visibility, and attracts high-ticket clients without you spending hours on LinkedIn and without you feeling salesy. Now, here's what this looks like in practice. Let's say that you're a consultant who helps B2B SaaS founders. You spend 5 minutes commenting on posts from well-known SaaS experts, positioning yourself as someone who understands the space. You then spend 5 minutes engaging with posts from SaaS founders, offering helpful insights. And then you spend 5 minutes responding to comments on your own posts, deepening relationships with people who are already engaging with your content. By the end of the week, you've engaged with 15 to 20 authorities, 15 to 20 ideal clients, and every person who commented on your own posts. You've then positioned yourself in front of hundreds, maybe thousands of people in your target audience, and you've done it all in just 15 minutes per day. This is how you turn LinkedIn engagement into a client attraction machine. So what then happens when you implement this 15-minute engagement framework consistently? I'll walk you through the transformation. I mean, first of all, your visibility skyrockets. By engaging strategically with authorities and ideal clients, you're showing up in front of the right people every single day. So your name ends up becoming familiar. People start recognizing you, and when they see your content on their feed, they're much more likely to engage with it because they already know who you are. Now, the second is that you build authority. When people consistently see that you're leaving insightful, value-adding comments, they start to perceive you as an expert. You're not just another person on LinkedIn. You're someone who clearly knows what they're talking about, and that perception translates into trust. Now, third, you generate inbound leads, because when you engage strategically, people check out your profile, and if your profile is optimized, they connect with you or send you a direct message. These aren't cold leads, they're warm, qualified prospects who are already familiar with your expertise. And because they came to you, the sales conversion process is so much easier. You're not really convincing, you're qualifying. And this is the exact engagement strategy that I've used to build a LinkedIn presence with over 55,000 followers and how I've generated over 10 million impressions in the last year alone. It's also the same approach that's helped clients to generate over 8,000 comments on their accounts and attracting high quality inbound leads without spending hours on the platform. So the platform, the process and this framework works, but you've got to commit at least the 15 minutes per day to it, and it's consistency that will build the momentum. 1 or 2 days won't do, but 30 days of strategic engagement, that's where you'll start to see real results. But with all of that said, here is the reality. The 15-minute engagement framework will absolutely attract high-ticket clients to your LinkedIn profile, but engagement is just one piece of the puzzle. If you really want to accelerate your results and if you want to grow and go from a handful of inbound leads to consistent pipeline of premium clients, you're going to need more than just engagement. You need a full LinkedIn authority engine that handles your positioning, your content, and your engagement in a coordinated system. And that's the exact same approach that I've leveraged to build my own LinkedIn presence, and the same system that I mentioned for the clients that have taken some of our accounts to over 72 million impressions just on LinkedIn, and some of our clients to over 4,000 new followers in just 30 days. So if you want a breakdown of how the full system works, drop a comment below with the word engage and I'll send you the full details. But even if you just implement this 15-minute engagement framework on your own, you're going to see a noticeable increase in your visibility and the inbound leads that you drive on the platform. So just to round off, leave the comment with the word engage below. We'll get that free breakdown sent over to you. Outside of that, I hope that you found this video helpful. Make sure you comment that word engage below, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.